So we are here to review Disney and Pixar's Inside Out, or as I call them, Dixar.
Why Dixar?
Disney Pixar. Dixar.
Oh, okay.
Do you wanna start us off?
Yeah. Actually, we were sitting out here in the backyard, and we get into talking about movies as we usually do, and we were pleased to invite you in for the discussion. By the way, thank you for all the nice comments we got on the first tryout. So, what did you think about Inside Out?
I loved Inside Out. It was probably my favorite Pixar movie ever, actually. When I first heard about the idea for Inside Out, I thought that Disney had a really cool opportunity to teach kids how to kind of process their emotions. Because growing up, there's a lot of childhood trauma that you have to deal with in shaping you into an adult.
I just wonder how much the kids really got that. It's pretty heavy-duty stuff about different emotions going on inside a person's head.
Yeah.
But I think it could lead to interesting discussions with the parents when the kids ask a million questions.
It is an intense movie, an emotionally intense movie, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because they have a lot of, there's always really intense peril and chases and stuff and bad guys in these movies anyway, but this was it was more relatable, and the issues that the host body girl Riley is going through are very relatable issues. Moving across country, going to a new school, millions of kids go through this every year. So I think
even if they didn't get it while they're watching the movie, I think they'll ask a million questions, and I think that's a very good kind of discussion to get into with the parents.
Your kids are going to learn about adult themes eventually. Not that there's crazy adult themes in Inside Out. It's just an emotionally intense movie that deals with some real stuff. And I just thought that it did it in a very tasteful and compassionate way.
I was really impressed that they took on that kind of a project to say we'll do what's going on inside the little girl's head, and the way they switched from the control rooms and the memory banks that were going on inside her head to the real life situation. Two different little styles of animation, much more realistic when it's the real people in the real situations. And they handled that very well, and it's just a very interesting subject, one that I happen to be kind of into lately. I hear a lot of buzz about mindfulness and meditation and so on, so I've been listening to a lot of stuff on YouTube about it, and I didn't realize how many people have that many voices going on in their head at one time. I'm having a good time trying to settle down the one voice that acts like a crazy monkey in my head. When you try to meditate, that's the whole point of it, or at least the starting point, is you sit and try to just be quiet for 20 minutes and not think. Turn the voice off.
That sounds so nice.
It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes some people years to accomplish it, and they say when you can really do it well, you go on to some other levels that get into I'm trying to think of the word they use, enlightenment. I haven't got that far, but I'm still trying to quiet the monkeys for a few minutes.
Yeah, I know, that's a struggle for sure.
But it was so interesting that they went into things like this long-term memory and short-term memory and forgotten memories that are down at the bottom of the cliff that had turned black. They started off as blue and green, and actually they took on the hue of the emotion that
processed the moment,
represented to them.
Yeah, that was one thing that I thought was really clever, was that your memories are kind of tainted by the emotions that you felt while you were experiencing them. So
and sadness turns them blue.
Yeah, exactly. So happy memories, that are now kind of, out of reach. When the little girl moves, some of the happy memories that are out of reach for her now, they get turned blue by sadness. That is okay. Teaching kids that it's okay for you to feel sad about, missing happy moments. There, and that was one thing that I thought was especially powerful about this movie. in the very beginning, they start listing off all the roles of the different emotions. Like, joy makes you feel happy and, you know, helps you function day to day, makes you feel good about yourself. And then there's disgust, which protects you from, like, eating stuff that's toxic, or, like, from, you know, dressing like, you know, an idiot and getting mocked at school. And then there's, like, fear, which protects you from dying. And then there's anger, which protects you, you know, helps you fight for yourself, kind of. And then, you know, so all these emotions have a role that's kind of stated in the beginning of this movie, except for sadness. It kind of lands on sadness, and it's like, and then there's sadness. and so sadness, and when you're young, you don't really realize sadness just feels like a thing that happens to you that you hate. Like, oh, this is terrible, I'm sad, this is the worst thing ever. But by the end of the movie, sadness finds its purpose, kind of. And so it was really cool to see that personified as, like, sadness doesn't know why she's there. She's just kind of like, you know, she just ruins everything. But then, you know, you realize that sadness is one, it lets people process bad things that have happened to them so that they can regroup. It's like a regrouping device. And at the same time, sadness can also be like an outward call to help to somebody else. Like, if you see somebody crying, you're going to go over and comfort them, right? That's just a human thing. And recognizing sadness in somebody is what allows you to do that. So it shows kids that, like, emotions are, you know, these very volatile things. And they can feel like a lot to deal with, but it did it in a very beautiful and very cool way. And even if the kids...
clever. I mean,
super clever.
The little... the imaginary friend is very much alive as they go on the journey, trying to get back from where they're at and lost in this memory banks back to the control room. And it finally turns out that the imaginary friend is just not keeping up with her as she's grown up into a young lady. So that had to kind of dissolve into mist.
Yeah. But that was another thing, was like that his, you know, character death, which was really sad, obviously, it was also symbolic. Like, there was a lot of symbolism in this movie, like sadness finding her purpose, and also, you know, the imaginary character, he goes out, you know, doing what his job is, which is to bring joy to the child. Joy falls into this pit at one point, the pit of dissolving memories, and with the help of the imaginary friend, she is able to make it out. So the imaginary friend literally brings her joy, which I think is, like, that's so cool. Yeah. Like, that's clever. That's really clever.
And he loses everything in the process.
Right. But he sacrificed himself doing what he was meant to do. Yeah. And doing what he loves to do, which is bring joy to the child. So I thought that was really cool.
And they set it up for the sequel that she's now coming into puberty, so going to be all kinds of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Going wild.
Pixar's first PG-13 movie. I would love that to happen. That would be hilarious, because, like...
Oh, well, I'm sure it's going to happen.
I mean, they really should do it. I mean, I know they're afraid of, like, not getting their core kid audience, but their core kid audience grew up. A whole generation of kids grew up on Pixar movies now, and they're about to hit puberty and have all these things that they don't understand. It's a golden opportunity.
The teenage years are even better than the previous years.
Yeah, it was like, at the beginning of the movie, they're like, she's 11, what could happen? And at the end of the movie, it's like, she's 12, what could happen? You know, like, a whole lot of stuff. What else did I want to say?
Stay tuned when the sequel comes out.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to review the puberty, you know, Inside Out Puberty Edition when that drops.
And we give it a 2 thumbs up, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, 2 thumbs up. Right. Fantastic movie.
If you get a
Go
chance,
see
don't miss it.
Yeah. Bring your kids, bring your grandparents, bring your everybody. Right. It's just a flawless movie, I think. It's as good as Pixar gets.